I think there's a danger when you talk about reconciliation. It inevitably has a kind of utopian ring to it. So it implies a kind of final state where everybody's reconciled with everybody, and the kind of notion of embrace and so forth. But I think that if you're willing to look at it as something that happens in the political realm and something that is, partially achieved, in other words, I outlined 6 practices. Some of them are going to happen in some countries, others in other countries. Any one of them is going to be, from 0 to 100, somewhere in here. And if you look at that, then I think you can see that, in fact, all 6 of the practices have taken place all over the globe with a range of successes and failures, just like everything else. And that in many places on the globe, they've actually achieved concrete results that have helped countries to move on in ways that they wouldn't have otherwise been. The example that I began with, which was Uganda, again, one approach saying, try the main perpetrators and mainly focus on human rights and the rule of law. But then the Acholi Religious Leaders Peace Initiative came along, proposing the Amnesty Act that's tied to a major reintegrative process, talking about forgiveness, talking about using traditional rituals of reconciliation and reparation. Well, that was essential for getting several tens of thousands of people out of the army back home, 2 million people from internally displaced camps back home. I don't want to simplify and say that that was the whole thing, but this approach actually, achieved the results of getting them to where they are. Again, partiality. I go to Uganda in August. They say, no, we don't have peace. I think what they really mean is we only have negative peace where the shooting has stopped. We have a long way to go. But I think it was that kind of inspiration and that approach which enabled them to, get that far, which was pretty significant. In South Africa, for instance, even apart from all the religious talk of reconciliation and anything else, you had a terrible dilemma. Either you try the apartheid leaders, in which case you might have a civil war, or you do nothing, in which case you have no legitimacy for this new system among the majority blacks. How do you thread the needle? It was a very difficult situation. Well, the concept of reconciliation was far from perfect, many drawbacks, but actually didn't give that kind of middle ground that helped them to move forward. It said, we're not going to get major punishments and trials, but we can tell a national story about what happened and help a lot of people to know about the truth about what happened to them in the way that they never would have otherwise. There were even some cases of major apartheid leaders who kind of had a change of heart, and so forth. So I do think there are some practical results that can be shown for it.